There's nothing more that I love in gaming than a good redemption story. Dynasty Warriors has always been one of my favorite and most beloved franchises of all time, but in recent years, it has proven difficult for this series to find its proper footing on the battlefield. Until now. Dynasty Warriors Origins has proven the critics wrong, the doubters wrong, and even me wrong. Today's video will focus on the success and the massive positive reception that Dynasty Warriors, yes, I said a Dynasty Warriors game, is receiving. You have to understand, these games have always been a required taste for the fans. People were always asking, why do you play the same thing, repetitive, 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 repetitive? Well, now, seems like everyone's a Dynasty Warriors fan. This is the Yakuza 0 moment. This is that Monster Hunter World moment. Maybe those examples are a little bit more extreme, but this is definitely a turning point for the Dynasty Warriors series, and hopefully Koei Tecmo will use this momentum to give us a proper, true, and real Dynasty Warriors 10. So enough of this talk, let's let the numbers speak for themselves. Let's take a look back into history at the terrible Dynasty Warriors 9. This game has a user score of 36, and as you can see, the peak was only 3,500 players. Now granted, Steam was a different place a couple years ago, but let's go ahead and move over to the Metacritic score. I honestly think this game is worse than a 65, and the user score is about my real score when it comes to Dynasty Warriors 9. There was nothing about this game that I liked, and I had no idea what Koei was trying to accomplish here other than be a generic overworld like everything else. In the Empire game, don't even get me started on what that was as well. Everything was a mess when it came to Dynasty Warriors 9. The fact that that game left in such a negative way really damaged the Dynasty Warriors community. It really damaged the name even further than what previous games had done to Dynasty Warriors because it was just that bad. So when Origins was finally announced, and it really wasn't even Dynasty Warriors 10, everyone was wondering, where is Koei taking this franchise? What are we doing? Dynasty Warriors is the pioneer of this Musou-like genre, so why is it struggling so much? Finally, we got Origins, we got our hand on the demo, and now it's finally released, and reception and goodwill is speaking for itself. Dynasty Warriors Origin just hit 63,000 players playing at the same time on Steam. It maintains a 91.31% out of 5,000 reviews, and by far, this shatters the record for Dynasty Warriors on Steam. There has never been another Dynasty Warriors game to even come close to the positive reception of this. It also maintains a 80 on Metacritic for the PlayStation 5 version, ranging all the way up to 85 for the PC version. These are numbers I never thought I would see for a Dynasty Warriors game, especially in 2025. If you need more proof, you can also go over to OpenCritic, where it maintains an 81% on both critics' recommendation and top critic scores out of 78 reviews. So where am I getting at with all of this? All in all, to say, as a pure Dynasty Warriors fan, I couldn't be more proud. Yes, critics and the media cannot determine what I fall in love with. I've always loved Dynasty Warriors through the ugly, the worst, the bad, and the great. But to finally see this series getting this type of recognition, even if it's not completely overwhelming, Dynasty Warriors has finally gained some respect back since Dynasty Warriors 4. And this momentum should create some of the best Dynasty Warriors games going forward that we have ever seen. This is not a time for Koei to take the scraps and reuse assets and churn out more mid. This is the time to truly build upon this momentum and elevate this series even further than the good graces of those who have always been here. My biggest gripes with Origin thus far is obviously not being able to play with the legendary characters, the legacy characters, and sort of limiting all the move sets and things of that nature, and cutting out a couple of characters. But it proves to me that sometimes a reset is necessary in order to rebuild. And that's what Origins has shown everyone. Sometimes you have to scale back and rebuild in order to get back on the right footing and the right track. Origins has this amazing ability thus far to attract this brand new audience. This new approach with this new emphasis on storytelling and heavy JRPG elements has proved that there is a market for this type of game. And what's so crazy is I'm curious as to all the newcomers who are finally playing a Dynasty Warriors game for the first time. Imagine if they had things like co-op. Imagine if they had things like over 70 to 80 characters to play with. How much bigger can this bubble get? And as a veteran of the series since Dynasty Warriors 3 all the way back in 2001, it's been so exciting welcoming new players and newcomers to one of my favorite franchises of all time. Redemption is sweet. Redemption is validating. And the way that Dynasty Warriors is handling all this newfound success and the way that it's bringing in these people with this fresh, new, clean, fun, and massive approach, finally, as a Dynasty Warriors fan, some of you are probably saying it to yourself. Finally, we are back. If you haven't had a chance to play Dynasty Warriors Origin, do yourself a favor. Go grab the demo from pretty much all of the major stores and check it out for yourself. There's a reason why this game almost hit 70,000 players at one time. It's fire. I have a review up of it on my channel if you want to go check out my real, raw, and uncut thoughts. The game is not perfect. It doesn't do everything well. It doesn't even do everything great. But it's such a fresh new coat of paint that it manages to please some veterans, bring in newcomers, and casuals alike. This is the moment we've been waiting for when it comes to Dynasty Warriors. I am very excited to see how Koei will use this momentum going forward. This is also a very cautious area. One bad game could put us right back where we were. So Koei Tecmo, please don't overspam this title. Don't make this title irrelevant. Build. Innovate, grow. That's what needs to happen with Dynasty Warriors from here on out. We have our reboot, we have our reset. Now it's your job to build the kingdom properly this time. It's your job to make sure we never fall back in that hole ever again. The formula is here, the formula is working, and I can't wait to see more Dynasty Warriors. Like all of my fellow warriors on the battlefield, I can finally proudly say, Dynasty Warriors is back.